Hello again, Stampin' Friends. We are going to be making this card today. Such a cute little easy to do card. I'm using a Stampin' Up! Stamp set called Desert Details. This is retired now, and also the designer series paper that goes with it. It is also retired, but you know, I love using my older stuff. We are going to be using this sheet load of cards from Crafty Owl. She does these once a month, and she is fabulous as far as giving you dimensions and everything else that you would need, cutting instructions on the back. Anyways, look for her on YouTube under Crafty Owl, or I'll try and make sure that I put something on the descriptions to show where you can find her. She is actually this time making a 5x7 card. I do not usually make 5x7 cards, so I've kind of changed some of the stuff to make it easier for me to make a 4x6, but we'll go through that in a minute and you'll see what I did with this template. Let's put this to the side. Let me maybe get a little bit closer here. Okay, we're going to start off with this card here. I kind of did things a little bit different with this one when I first looked at it. I didn't actually bother to read her instructions, which was a mistake on my part. But so I went with just layering. So I layered a piece of Whisper White on soft succulent cardstock, and then layered some designer series paper. Again, layered another piece of basic white, another piece, and went that way. That was a dumb way to do it. If I would have just looked at her instructions, I would have found a much easier way to do it, which is what we're going to do. So let's start off. Let me grab all of our stuff here. You're going to start out, of course, with, maybe I'll back this up just a little bit so that you can see a little bit more all the stuff that I go through here. We'll put some of this in. We're going to start off with an 8.5 by 5.5 piece of cardstock. And this was scored, of course, at 4 1/4. So that's ready to go. Then we're going to start next with a 4 by 5 1/4 piece of just white cardstock. And we're going to go ahead and attach that real quick. To our card base. Get this out of the way. And let me see if I can't get this on there straighter than what I had it on. Get it up here where you can see. It's going to be one of those days where I'm off no matter what, it seems like. Okay, then we're going to start with our strips of designer series paper. And this is cut at 7/8 by 5, and you're going to need 2 of them. So we're going to put those on. And I am just going to kind of eyeball it. So I want to start one about right here. And then the next one kind of at the same place, and then we'll try to get the middle one somewhere close. Okay, if I could get my finger out of the way, that'd be good. See what I was doing a little bit better. That looks pretty good. I think oops, got that kind of down a little low. Try this a little bit better. There we go, that looks a little bit better. And there we go. Okay. The next one is going to be another piece of paper, designer series paper, that's cut at 1 3/4 by 5. And we'll put that on there. And we're just going to kind of center it. So I could have done a better job of centering this vertically, but since I didn't, that'll be good enough. Okay, so this is kind of back to my template here. So I've got these pieces here on my piece of cardstock, and now I'm going to work where she says image and our sentiment, and then put a cross piece across there, and that's what we're going to do. So I'm going to start again with another 4 1/4 by 3/4 piece of cardstock here. Once again, the same color as my base. I'm going to move this down just a little bit. Just because I'm going to have some little bit bigger sentiment or image on there, and so I'm going to want to move it down a little. So there we go. Then I have cut from my Desert Details here the dies that go with it, and they are great dies. So the ones that we're going to be using today is this cut piece right here, along with the flower, and along with whatever type of floral or fauna this is. And we're going to be using those pieces today. Of course, with the miracle of video, I have already cut a lot of this out, so we don't need to worry about it. So the next piece I'm going to do, and I should have attached this before I put it on, but it doesn't matter. I've cut this out of silver. Maybe I will make this a little bit bigger so you can kind of see some of the, there we go, not right like that. See some of the designs on this. So I've just cut this out of silver foil, and I didn't worry about the size on it because I figured, doesn't really matter because I'm going to trim it off. So I'm just going to stick it on here, about there, and just kind of center it right on that. And then I'm going to trim, of course, off that extra. And there we go. Oops. And trim this off too. There we go. Okay. Now I'm ready to do the fun stuff. I have already stamped my flower image, and I stamped that in, let's see, smoky slate. And then I just took, and it's kind of hard for you probably to see on the video, but I did take my soft succulent pad and my dauber and simply added a little bit more color to the center of that flower. And maybe you can see it a little bit better now, which worked out great. That turned out to be fine. Let me cover this back up before I stick my finger in it, as usual. So I'm going to go ahead and put dimensionals on that because I want to pop it up a little bit. And then here was the other piece. And I also did this out of the same silver foil too. And I am going to actually take my detail kind of glue. I love this glue. And I'm just going to put enough on it just to kind of hold it in place. I'm not going to worry too much about the top part because it can wave a little, be a little bit loose, give it a little bit more dimension. Let me put this back on there before I lose my needle. Okay, and then we're going to take this. Usually I use my tweezers, but of course I forgot to bring this out. And I'm just going to kind of tuck this underneath. I didn't do a very good job of watching where I was going to put this, so I'm going to pull this up a little bit and then just kind of tuck it right underneath there like that. Make sure that everything stays where it's supposed to. And then add my flower piece. Now, which way would I like it to go? I never know which way they're really supposed to go. I'm going to kind of put it off to the side a little. Something like that. Let me get some of this stuff out of the way. And then I get to add the bling, which is always the fun part. Yes. And I'm just going to add a little bit of bling. She, of course, did her bling. Let me show you hers again. Right here on the thing, and since mine is a little bit different, I'm going to add my bling at a couple other different spots. Maybe one about right here. Kind of go off my original since I kind of like where I placed them before. And I am using these old metallic pearls from Stampin' Up! Just because I thought they worked well with this. And there we have my very simple card. Let me show you what I did with the inside. I took the image and stamped it again, did the bouncing with the succulent and the little dauber to give it a little bit of color. And then I had some of these smaller ones cut out, so I just added them to it and then used the You Are What Sunshine Feels Like for the inside of my card. And so that'll go in there. That'll be the inside of my card. Might as well go ahead and put it in while I've got everything out. And we have it. Easy peasy. Fun little card. Loved using her sketch to go from. Like I say, she does a great job as far as helping you with dimensions and everything, but since she was using a 5x7 card and I wanted to make a 4x6, this is what I ended up with. And I liked using my foil for once, and instead of doing like she did, I used the foil and the die from that stamp set, and then used an image instead of placing a sentiment, because I didn't think I really needed a sentiment on this card. So, hope you enjoyed this video. I had fun doing it, and have a great day, and I look forward to talking to y'all again. Bye-bye. Keep stamping and scrapping.